On August 11th, 1967, 24-year-old William Henry Furman changed his life in the worst way possible.
Furman always struggled from a young age, with his education only going to a 6th grade level. He could never make ends meet and always struggled with alcohol addiction throughout his entire life.
He also suffered from psychosis that was brought on by his epileptic seizures. On August 11th, this is when his case started. He broke into the house of William Mickey, and he was heavily drinking, and his goal that he said to the police was to only pick up a radio or two.
With every step he took, you could hear the floors creaking more and more, until eventually, he woke up Mr. Mickey.
According to Mr. Furman, he had a gun with him when he was robbing the house, and he tripped over a wire from the washing machine, and that's when the gun went off, having no idea that he killed Mr. Mickey.
The gun went through the door, ending Mr. Mickey's life. Then, Furman fled the scene like nothing happened.
After Furman fled the scene, the police found him hiding under his uncle's porch with the gun that he killed Mr. Mickey with in his pocket.
Eventually, with enough pressure and guilt, he finally cracked, confessing to killing Mr. Mickey, claiming the entire thing was one big accident.
Furman, being a person of color, already set him to a disadvantage when entering the courtroom, especially when he was sentenced to murder and sentenced to death.
Furman appealed, arguing that his death penalty was used unfairly and inconsistently, especially against minorities and the poor.
In the courtroom, Furman was the plaintiff in this court scenario, and he believed that the death penalty violated the 8th and 14th Amendments. It applied arbitrarily and disproportionately, which affected African Americans and low individual incomes.
And the defendant, being Georgia, said the death penalty was lawful and Furman's sentence was legal under existing state laws.
Looking at this case, if it was unconstitutional or constitutional, Furman believed it was unconstitutional because he was sentenced to death and was charged with murder, but he claimed everything that happened was an accident.
Keeping this in mind, the court agreed to hear the case because it addressed how fairly and consistently the government applies the most severe punishment possible.
After everyone was heard in this scenario, the vote ended with 5-4 siding with Furman. They decided that the way the death penalty was being applied was unconstitutional and his sentence would be overturned. Instead of being executed, his sentence was changed to life in prison.
Although this case didn't ban the death penalty forever, it forced states to rewrite their laws to make sentencing less random and more fair.
This case has such strong significance to the Supreme Court history because it settled and addressed deep racial and socioeconomic injustices that are rooted in the legal system, and it forced all states to make their rules of sentencing to the capital punishment less biased.
This case finally made the court ruling necessary to uphold constitutional rights, creating the legal system to be fair.
They had to put into mind the 8th and 14th Amendments, seeing if this was constitutional or not, and they ended up making the whole legal system fair.
So what do we think about this case?
Personally, if I was a justice hearing Furman's case, I would have ruled with the majority. I think that the Constitution protects us against cruel and unusual punishments.
I agree with that. I can see, what he did was wrong. He was the one who broke into the house and planning to steal stuff, but what did happen was an accident. He tripped, and although he killed someone, which is horrible and never excused, I don't think it's worth the death penalty, considering it was an accident in the end.
Yeah, and then you can see just how, socioeconomic and racial issues are deeply rooted in this.
Yeah.
And also, I think that applying the death penalty randomly and unfairly clearly violates the Constitution.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.